Hello, my friends. This is Patrick Allman from StopDoingNothing.com with, I believe, episode 15, if I'm not mistaken, 15 or 16. I lose track sometimes. 15 of the Stop Doing Nothing podcast and video show. If you are listening on iTunes, I just want to let you know there's a video of it. Plus, it's also on Stitcher and SoundCloud. And if you're watching on YouTube, there's audio of it also. So depending on which format you prefer, we kind of got you all covered there. My name is Patrick Allman. I run a website called StopDoingNothing.com, which I call the business for high achievers. And what I like to do there as a result of my own self-study and stumbling through my own flaws is give you tips on time management and productivity and how to be more excited and energetic and driven in what you do in life. And I can promise you that everything here that I talk about comes from my own mistakes and flaws and failures in life. And my goal is, number one, that hopefully you will learn from my mistakes. And number two, that you yourself will feel energized and motivated and be able to be more of a high achiever in life and get through things. This episode 15, is going to be talking about social media, which is a huge part of our lives. If you're on the internet at all, you're probably on social media. And specifically, how whether or not social media is a complete waste of your time, which I have heard from plenty of people. Yeah, plenty of people think that you get on social media and it's a complete waste of your time. And let's talk about that for a little bit. Real quickly, though, that I did want to remind you that I'd like your feedback about the podcast. So down the bottom of my blog comments at stopdoingnothing.com and via email and via social media, please share your opinions with me about this particular topic. I'm a huge user of social media, and I just want to be sure that, I take all opinions into account, not just my own. As much as I, do love hearing my own voice, I also like to be sure that my opinion is balanced with other really smart people out there. So I would also encourage you to go over to stopdoingnothing.com and take a look at some of the recent blog posts. One of the ones I'm really happy with recently is I'm starting to do a monthly recap of the previous month of the things that I accomplished, the things I did well, the things I did poorly. And I have the first one up there. If you go to the website, you'll see that there's an April 2014 High Achiever Report and Forecast. And I'd like your thoughts on that also. Okay, let's get to our main topic today. Stop Doing Nothing podcast, whether or not social media is a complete waste of time. And by social media, let's just qualify it and say just about any site online where you can go and people are sharing content, sharing audios like this, sharing videos, sharing their opinions, sharing articles, sharing images, sharing funny cat videos, sharing fail videos, taking quizzes. You know what I'm talking about. All those websites where you can basically just kind of go and quote unquote be social online. I have a problem with that right off the bat. I don't believe that anything you do online is social whatsoever. Just because you're online and you're in a chat room, you're not really being social. You're hiding behind a computer screen, whether voluntary or involuntary, and that's how you're engaging with people. But I wouldn't really call that being social. But trust me, do not get me started going there. I have certain opinions on whether or not social media can be productive or not, and I'd like to share those with you. And again, I'd like your feedback on this. And what I've learned, at least for me, business-wise, because I do run a couple of businesses, is that, getting on social media on my wall, on the profile side, does tend to be a time distraction, a time suck, all those things involved with just really not providing me too much value. When I get on Facebook and I look at my wall and I see the things that are on there, the quizzes that are on there, and the religious debates and the political debates, and just the funny stuff, I have to admit, it is entertaining. And if you're looking at it from that perspective, then and you're not trying to be productive, then yes. But where it gets to be a problem, in my opinion, is if that is, number one, your main source of entertainment, and also, number two, if you are losing a ton of time on there, which, by the way, I'm completely guilty of, losing a ton of time on there sometime, but then you wonder how come your business hasn't taken certain steps or you haven't had some personal growth or things like that. It's very easy to be on a website and there's constantly new things to read, new things to debate, new things to listen to, new things to watch. And I'll focus on Facebook, for example. Facebook is just a never-ending update of stuff to read. It's like the book that never ends. There's always another video. There's always another news article. There's always another opinion. There's always another family member who's having a birth, a death, a wedding, a divorce, a trip, a vacation. It is not hard for you to update your Facebook stream and to see things that are constantly changing. So it wouldn't be hard for you to spend hours and hours on there just going through that stuff. And as entertaining as it is, it doesn't get you very far in life. With this website and this whole mission being on focusing on being a high achiever, you take that into consideration when you're looking at your time management, which is a big issue that's the focus of this business. Is that, for all those minutes and hours you're spending on Facebook, there are so many other things you could be doing. So let's just knock that one out of the park right away. Yes, from a personal perspective, I think Facebook can be a complete waste of time. And you have to guard that time and make sure that when you get on, you have a purpose. Now let's look at it from the business perspective side. If you go on Facebook looking for business, if you go into groups or fan pages or on your wall or whatever, and you're looking for leads, you're looking for people saying, hey, I've got, $10,000, would you build a website for me? Or I've got, $15,000 for a marketing program. If you go looking for that kind of stuff, then I guarantee you're going to waste your time there too. And whether it's YouTube or Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn, when you go looking for those things, you're just not going to find them. And if you do, you're going to be just dang lucky because they just don't happen. When people are shopping for vendors often, especially high dollar vendors, they don't go poking around on Facebook looking for that stuff. They might ask their friends in private. They might flip open the yellow pages, which, believe it or not, still exists. They, more often or not though, they'll go based on referrals, and they won't, just post something on their Facebook wall or in a group, although it does happen occasionally. So if you're on there, if you're any kind of business that has been told, there's plenty of business on Facebook, you just got to go look for it. To tell you the truth, that is a mistake also. And I also think that part of the challenge here is that there's a bunch of service providers, me being one included, there are a bunch of service providers who have gone to social media experts, if they've gone to conferences, and they've been told these amazing wonder stories about how with one tweet, this lady took her independent film and it got turned into a multi-million-dollar Hollywood movie. So you know what? Because of that, you've got to be on social media, right? Because just amazing things like that happen all the time. And I am here to tell you firsthand that's kind of a load of crap. That is a fluke. Just like things in life are a fluke, that does not happen very often at all on social media. Yes, you can, communicate with the stars and communicate with the media. It does remove a huge layer of separation, but the odds of you finding a well-paying gig or something core to your desired or your dreamed of on social media, I'm here to tell you right now, is slim and none. And the reason for that is because there's 10,000 other guys or gals like you out there looking for the same thing. They're looking for their big break in singing or their big break in acting as a result of being on social media, and those things are just really few and far in between. I see it a lot in the music scene, especially on Twitter. I get a lot of young R&B artists, rappers, various subgenres of R&B, and they have either a Tumblr site or a MySpace site, and they'll automatically tweet me, automatically DM me about their latest rap hit that they produced in their mom's basement and how they're going to blow up as a result. I just need to reshare it. And those are kind of a lot of the spam that I get are people in the music industry that are just looking to get some kind of quick break on Twitter. And again, that just does not happen if you're out there looking for it. Where I have found to be my most productive time in social media is just like on your own website, things I've talked about before, and just like you've heard other experts say, is the concept of demonstrating expertise, assuming you have one, and sitting back and letting that expertise kind of stew and simmer and wait for people to see that they have a need that you can fill. And when that opportunity comes up and they DM you or they fill out your contact form or whatever as a result of being on social media, you're willing, ready, and able. And I'm going to talk about some different ways you can do that. But again, what's going on social media really reflects what goes on in life. Whether you go to a Starbucks and there's a bunch of people in Starbucks and we're all consuming and talking and listening to each other and making a bunch of noise, you don't find a lot of business in Starbucks. However, if you're at the same Starbucks over and over for a while and people see that you're an expert in something, they're eventually going to walk up to you and talk to you. Again, all that carries over to social media. So there are some things that I do on social media that basically have brought me in business as a result of being social media. And almost all the time, it's not business I was looking for. It's just business that was handed to me. And it was also business that wasn't hard to close. It was usually a DM or an email that says, hey, Patrick, I saw you on social media. When can you start on this for me? Whether it's a speaking engagement, whether it's a consulting engagement, whether it's just some simple business coaching, a short business coaching session via Skype. By the time people have seen my updates on social media for a while, the closing is already done. The closing's been done over the past days, months, and weeks. You don't have to go through the typical sales process on the phone where you get the permission to proceed and you're doing those incremental position things and then you're wrapping up towards the closing. If you're doing your marketing right on social media, by the time you get into a private conversation with someone, pretty much all you're negotiating at that point in time is payment plans and scope. And that's also the area where I think you can charge more because you've demonstrated your expertise. People often want that expertise and they'll just about pay any dollar to get it. The ways that I found by doing this are pretty much avoiding my Facebook wall, for example, and focusing on the groups feature in Facebook. I'm not sure if I've talked about this before. But the things that have really helped me be productive on Facebook are, number one, joining groups of really smart people, literally groups on Facebook, and also starting my own group. The first one I'll cover is joining a Facebook group out there. There are a ton, and by a ton I'm going to assume that there are thousands, of private and hidden Facebook groups that you have to request access to get into, that once you're approved to get into, you'll find out that they're really high value and really low spam. I'm going to go ahead and tell you about mine right now. Mine's called Speaker Online Marketing. So if you go on Facebook and search for Speaker Online Marketing, it should take you eventually to my group where you join, where you click to join, but I have to approve you coming in. Not just anybody can join. And the whole process of approval is really important because there are also 1,000 groups on Facebook which are called open, which as soon as you click to join them, you're in and you can post whatever you want. And these places are ripe with spam, ripe with self-promotional spam, ripe with MLM spam, just people out there spamming the dickens out of this. And there's just no value in a room where everybody's yelling and nobody's listening. And, a lot of times people will use these open groups for when they put up a new blog post out there. They'll go out and they'll share it to 50 or 60 groups, or they'll pay for an inexpensive offshore VA to do it because that's what they've been told to do as marketers. Social media experts have said, put up a new blog post and go share it in 50 groups. Go find 50 open groups. And I'm not going to say that you can't get business that way, but imagine in the real world if you did that, if you came out with a new news article or whatever, and you just basically kind of went to every nightclub, every bar in town, and ran in, kicked in the door, and threw a copy of your article or your news, your press release, whatever. You threw that on everyone's table, and then you ran out, and you ran to the bar next door, and you did the same thing. After a while, people are going to see you coming, and they're going to run. They're going to avoid you. They're going to lock the door. Or they're just going to basically ignore you, which is the equivalent in the real world of just picking up what you dropped on their desk and throwing it in the trash. So I avoid open groups. I really do. I have yet to find an open group that is under control and has real value to it. I prefer the closed groups and the private groups. Speaker Online Marketing is a closed group. It's an approval-only group. I also like ones like, there's one called Internet Marketing Super Friends, which is run by a great guy named Mike Hill. That thing is, I think it's up to maybe 8,000 members or 6,000 members, and there's a 9,000 person backlog. The group is that good. And I know these numbers because Mike's made me an admin, and I approve the people that get in that group, and there's certain criteria. And the reason is to keep that spam down. It's just a really big thing on Facebook to go around and join a bunch of groups and then just spam the crap out of them. And that's a horrible way to do it. So find some high quality groups that are focused on the area you want. Uh, Log in there, check out the past discussions, make sure the discussions are of value, and make sure it's a group that you can not only contribute to, also make sure it's a group that you can pull from. And also, one of the things you might consider the route that I went also, but this is a lot of work, is starting and running your own group. And this is becoming very popular for mastermind groups and things like that, is starting and running your own group. I'm a member of NSA, National Speakers Association, and I couldn't find a group in there that was focusing a lot in the internet marketing world for speakers, so I created one. And here we are, 1,600 members later, and growing strong, kind of shooting our way towards 2,000. It's pretty cool. And I'll go in there and I'll share tips and tricks with people. I'll share videos about cool things you can do on your laptop real quick that help your speaker marketing. And other people come in and they'll share some of their marketing secrets and how they're getting gigs for speaking and the right way to talk to an association and what events are coming up that you need to know to, reply to an RFP as a speaker. And every now and then a spammer does slip in, but I or one of the other admins are usually on top of it, and we will delete that and we'll remove that person. And to tell you the truth, most of the time I'll ban them because I have zero tolerance for spam, especially if it's obvious spam. There's the obvious spam, like where an MLMer comes in, the same thing they posted on their group and 5 other groups, they posted in your group. And sometimes there's the not so obvious spam, there's the subtle spam where people just didn't know, and they're like, if you tell them not to do that and you delete it, they'll say, oh, I'm sorry, I won't do that again. But some of the obvious spammers I just delete and ban. But in that group, Speaker Online Marketing, I keep the topic focused around internet marketing for speakers, lead generation, email marketing, MailChimp, Infusionsoft, building products, all that. And I've heard that group is very valuable to the public speaker community. I've heard a lot of people say that this is the only reason they get on Facebook is to see, what Patrick has posted next and how it can affect their business and how it can help them. So those are where I get most of my value, is either participating in a high quality group on Facebook or creating my own Facebook group. Now, unfortunately, most of the other social networks don't have a feature like this. YouTube doesn't have a grouping feature where you can sit there and have private discussions about a particular topic on YouTube. And same thing with Twitter. And for those of you that are thinking, oh, I can just use a Twitter hashtag, I'm sorry, Twitter hashtags are bullshit. Okay, a hashtag is nothing but a pound sign with some letters after it in an attempt to group conversations. It's a way for Twitter to kind of make up in Twitter's shortfalls. And it wasn't invented by Twitter, it was invented by somebody else. But hashtags are not a way to group a conversation because you are still annoying everybody else on your Twitter stream about a topic that they don't care about. So if you're talking about, cooking, spaghetti, and you tweet out something that says hashtag spaghetti and hashtag spaghetti, I don't really care about that hashtag. But I'm seeing your tweets about it, whether or not I care about spaghetti. Versus over on Facebook, when you're having your discussions in that group, you're not annoying everybody else on your wall and your friends. It's private to you. So Twitter doesn't have this feature. YouTube doesn't have this feature. Google Plus does have this feature, and I would take a look over there at Google Plus. Between their company pages and their interest groups, you can do the same thing on Google Plus. So for big-time community building, for big-time demonstrating your expert status, I'm a big fan of Facebook groups and Google Plus groups. Fan pages, not so much. Fan pages aren't a good place to kind of foster new business. They're a good place for you to share information about your expertise, but because so few of your people see your updates on fan pages nowadays, it's getting harder and harder and harder to get a message from your fan page out there. Now, I'm still a firm believer that you should have a fan page for your business, but you're going to have to get used to maybe dropping $5, $10, $20 every now and then to get a wider reach for your advertising message on Facebook. So just be aware of that. Fan pages are just going that route. Facebook groups, to tell you the truth, are where I've gotten probably most of my business. And again, it's just demonstration of expertise. Participating in conversations when you have the time, giving people alternative websites to link to for a solution. And as a result of doing all this, I'm going to tell you that I do get exactly what I was talking about in the beginning. I do get DMs for speaking engagements. Just got one 2 days ago from a gentleman We participate in some of the same groups together, and he DMs me and says, Patrick, would you be interested in coming out to Los Angeles to speak for me at a conference? And unfortunately I can't because I'm speaking at another conference, but he didn't think twice when he was thinking about people to send this to. He sent it to me. And the same way it goes with that with, either people wanting online marketing help or coaching help. Very often I get DMs saying, how can I hire you to help me with this thing? And that's all a result of Facebook groups. And again, I'm referring to the closed and private groups. Now, getting back to the initial thing we were talking about logging on Facebook. If you're the kind of person who wants to be a high achiever, which I'm assuming you are if you're listening at this point in the podcast, we're about 20 minutes in, and I'm assuming that you want to be a high achiever. Some of the things you can do on Facebook are to get on, take care of your business, and get off as soon as possible. Like I mentioned earlier, Facebook is a nonstop infinite wall of updates from your friends and family. Baby pictures, animal pictures, funny cat pictures, videos, just the most ridiculous things. Kim and Kanye news. I mean, it just never, ever stops. And if you make the mistake of just scrolling down your wall to see, hey, I'm kind of curious what my friends say, all of a sudden, you've shot by an hour and you're behind in another area of your life. You're late to the gym. You haven't worked on your business. You've missed writing a paragraph of your book. So Facebook-wise, I encourage you to get on Facebook, see if you have any notifications for any discussions you're participating in. See if you have any private messages, direct messages, and then maybe hop into one or two of your groups. See if there's anything there that you can glean from the group or discussions or contribute, and then get off Facebook. Don't even make the mistake of going to your wall because you're going to get caught up in silly debates, political discussions, religious discussions, those stupid quizzes, things from BuzzFeed, things from Upworthy. I mean, those things are just nonstop interruptions in your brain trying to suck you from being productive. And you may have friends or family that spend a lot of time on Facebook because they don't want to be a high achiever. They don't want to start a business. They don't want to run a marathon. They don't want to go to the gym, and that's fine. But I'm here to tell you that when you look at some of the really productive people that you respect, I'll just throw out some names here. The Seth Godins of the world, the Tony Robbins of the world, Michael Hyatt's, Pat Flynn, Chris Ducker. These are people who don't just sit there on Facebook and scroll for hours and hours and hours on Facebook looking for cool things from their friends. They get on, they take care of business, they post the link to their latest offer, their latest page, their latest podcast, and then they get off. So get on Facebook, take care of business, and get off. And again, just avoid participating in stupid, silly debates on Facebook. I hope this has been useful for you when it comes to showing you how, or I guess responding to the questions whether or not social media is a complete waste of time. It is a waste of time if you get on there and you just shoot through an hour and you don't do anything for your business. You don't generate any leads. You don't participate in high quality groups, and you don't run a high quality group. Yeah, of course it's a complete waste of time. But get on, do some of those things I was talking about, get off, and get back to the productive things in life. You can get back to Scrivener, writing your book. You can get back to flipping on your camera like this and recording a video, or recording, turning on your microphone and doing a recording there. But get on social media, check it out for, 30, 60 seconds, and then get off. There's nothing on there life-threatening. There's nothing on there really crucial. There's nothing on there that you can't miss. It will be there when you get back, I promise. And for those times that you do want to get on social media and burn some time, just kind of please make sure you allocate that in your calendar so it has a definite start time and end time. This has been episode 15 of the Stop Doing Nothing podcast. Is social media a complete waste of time with Patrick Almond? Please do me a favor. Subscribe on iTunes, subscribe in Stitcher, subscribe in SoundCloud, and subscribe on YouTube. And let me know your comments, and also rate this podcast and rate this video. That's the only way I'll know whether or not I'm conveying a message that's useful to you in your life and your goal of being a high achiever. My goal is to do these weekly, but I have to admit I don't always get them out on time. So look for another one next week. If you're on the email list at the website, I'll email you the information about the new podcast anyways. But go to one of those many channels and subscribe. You can also go to the official website, stopdoingnothing.com, and get some more information about the podcast and the videos and me, your host, Patrick Almond, and the things that we stand for and things we're trying to push for people. I really enjoyed having you, even though I can't see you or hear you. I really appreciate your time and the time you took to listen to this podcast today, and I hope it was of great value for you. Until the next podcast, this has been Patrick Almond with Stop Doing Nothing. We'll talk again soon.